For example, cell phones are tested at a distance from the body. I was shocked to find this out. I thought for sure that cell phones could be used any which way and they would be safe. I didn't know anything about the radiation they had when I first learned about this issue. But all the government requires is one test with one phone, and they make sure it meets a limit, which is not even protective. It's sky high compared to where the biological effects are. But buried in the fine print of every phone, every Wi-Fi router, even smartwatches, is a fine print instructions telling us, like the Apple iPhone 5, carry iPhone at least 10 millimeters away from your body. Now, the government of France, that has some of the most progressive work on this issue, started several years ago testing hundreds of cell phones to see, well, what if we tested them at body contact? What would the radiation level be? And they tested phones at 0 millimeters, meaning right at body contact, at 5 millimeters, and at the number that the manufacturer set. So in the United States, the manufacturer can set a distance on the phone, and that's where they will test it for the radiation that is absorbed into our bodies. And these are actually pictures from some of their tests. I don't know if you can see it, but on one side is with the 15 millimeter separation of the Galaxy J3, and on the other side, it's up to the body phantom. We use a very outdated test of a, basically it's like a tub of filled with a sugar liquid to represent us, to test the radiation from the phone, and all they do is measure the temperature and make sure it doesn't get too hot. But when they did this test and they put it up to the body phantom, they found that the majority of them exceeded limits of the ones that they tested at 0 millimeters. And now 17 phones have been taken off the market or updated, software updated, to reduce the radiation so that they meet our government limits. Dr. Marco Rossi, who started the PhoneGate Association in France, is actively working on that. That is another great organization to follow. They're working on, hey, if you have a limit, we need to stick with that limit and not have phones that are exceeding the limit. Now, I have gone to the FDA about this, as have many scientists, numerous times. They acknowledge that the limit potentially could be breached, but say that it wouldn't cause harm, even if it was breached. Research published by Om Gandhi, who is a scientist who actually worked to set and engineer the radiation limits many years ago, and when his research showed that children are more vulnerable in terms of having more exposure proportionate to an adult, he lost his industry funding on this issue. He's one of our advisors, and he published some research looking at the French data and found that if they took the way the French did their measurements and used the way in the United States, the way we do our measurements, that phones could violate US limits up to 11 times. And at this point in France, now several French ministers are calling for 0 millimeter separation distance in phone testing. They're saying phones should be tested at body contact. That makes complete sense. And in fact, there's several laws in France I'm going to be talking about, but just recently they had another order, and in it they say, type of information to appear under the section precautions for using the appliance. These are just a few quotes. Use hands-free kit or loudspeaker. Keep radio equipment away from the belly of pregnant women. Keep radio equipment away from the lower abdomen of adolescents.